Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're trying to improve your life, but everything stays the same? You wake up each day thinking, I want to change. But somehow, nothing really moves. You wait for motivation, for clarity, or for that perfect moment when everything feels right. But the truth is, that moment rarely comes. This episode is about understanding why life can feel like it's standing still, and how to gently begin moving again. The key idea is simple but powerful. Nothing changes if nothing changes. If you keep doing what you've always done, life will stay exactly as it is. But the good news is, small, consistent actions can open doors you didn't even know existed. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how to take control, how to stop waiting, and how to start creating your own change. You'll not only learn natural English, but also valuable lessons about self-discipline, patience, and growth. So stay with me until the end, and let's explore how real transformation begins with one honest, simple step forward. And before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what you're doing as you listen and where you're listening from. It's always incredible to see the global reach of my podcast. With love, let's dive in. Why do we wait for the right time? Have you noticed how often people say, "I'll start tomorrow"? It sounds harmless, but tomorrow often turns into next week, next month, or never. We tell ourselves we're waiting for the right time, the right feeling, or the perfect opportunity. But deep down, we know the truth. There is no perfect time. Life will always be busy. You'll always feel a little unsure. Waiting for motivation before you act is like waiting for the sun on a cloudy day. Sometimes you just have to step into the light you already have. Motivation doesn't start the process. Action does. The moment you begin, your energy shifts. Even 5 minutes of doing something you've been avoiding can change how you feel about yourself. You start to believe, I can do this. That small confidence builds momentum. The right time isn't out there somewhere. It's now, in this moment, when you choose to begin, even without perfect conditions. Don't wait to feel ready. Readiness comes after you take the first step, not before it. What makes small actions so powerful? It's easy to underestimate small actions. Listening to one English podcast, reading a short article, or practicing for just 5 minutes might not seem like much. But small actions hold enormous power. They are easy to repeat, and that's what makes them strong. Think about water dripping on a rock. A single drop seems weak, but over time, it shapes stone. The same happens in your life. Each small, repeated action shapes your habits, your mindset, and your results. Small actions work because they don't scare your brain. Big goals can feel overwhelming, but small steps feel possible. And when something feels possible, you actually do it. Those little wins create trust within yourself. You start to see evidence that you can change. Slowly, day by day, you build a rhythm. That rhythm turns into progress. The secret of real growth isn't speed, it's consistency. Small, simple actions, done with heart and honesty, create results that last. Why isn't hope enough? Hope is beautiful. It gives us comfort when life feels heavy. But hope alone doesn't create change. You can hope to speak English confidently, to have a better job, or to feel happier. But without action, hope is just a dream. Habits turn hope into something real. The difference between I wish and I will is small, but it changes everything. You don't need to feel inspired every single day. You just need to show up. Even when you're tired, even when it feels boring, doing something small still moves you forward. Hope is the seed, but habit is the water that helps it grow. When you build a daily routine, even if it's short, you tell your brain, this matters. Over time, that quiet effort transforms your entire identity. So don't rely only on hope. Let your actions speak for you. Real change begins when hope turns into habit. Why do we fear small beginnings? Many people are afraid to start small. They want to begin with something impressive, a big project, a perfect plan, or a dramatic change. But that pressure often kills motivation before it even starts. We think, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. But that mindset stops you from ever starting. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once struggled to say a few words. Small beginnings are not a weakness. They are a gift. They give you space to learn without pressure. They allow you to experiment, to grow, to make mistakes safely. Think of your first step not as too small, but as exactly enough. You don't need to be ready to start big. You just need to begin. When you take small, steady steps, you build strength quietly. The key is not speed or size, it's consistency. Remember, the courage to start small is what leads to something great. What happens when we avoid change? When we avoid change, life doesn't stay peaceful. It becomes heavier. Days start to blend together. You feel stuck, frustrated, or disconnected from yourself. It's not because you're lazy, it's because staying the same feels safe. Even when we're unhappy, comfort can be tempting, but growth never happens inside comfort. The longer you wait, the more your dreams begin to fade into the background. Avoiding change doesn't protect you. It slowly steals your energy and joy. But here's the good news. The moment you do one small thing differently, the feeling of stuck starts to disappear. Change doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be gentle. Maybe you study for 5 minutes longer. Maybe you speak one new English sentence out loud. Those moments tell your mind, I can move again. Each small shift reminds you that you are capable of creating your own momentum. You don't have to change everything, just something. How can you build a habit that lasts? The secret to building a habit that lasts isn't intensity, it's simplicity. Choose something so small that you can't say no. If you want to learn English, start by listening for 5 minutes each day. If you want to read more, open one page. When your goal feels easy, your brain doesn't resist. You take action naturally. Once you finish that small action, your brain feels rewarded. It says, that felt good, let's do it again. Over time, this creates a loop of success. You start to rely less on willpower and more on rhythm. The habit becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth. But remember, habits grow stronger when they're supported by kindness, not pressure. If you miss a day, don't punish yourself, just start again. Habits built with patience last longer because they're rooted in love, not fear. So start small, stay kind, and let repetition do the magic. What role does self-compassion play? Self-compassion is often the missing piece in change. Many people believe they need to be strict with themselves to stay motivated, but harshness doesn't build consistency. Kindness does. When you fail, criticize yourself, or skip a day. You might think you've lost progress. But failure isn't falling. It's refusing to get up. Self-compassion allows you to keep going. It says, I'm still learning. It's okay to start again. Growth isn't a straight line. It's full of stops and starts. When you forgive yourself, you remove fear from the process. You make room for curiosity and courage. So if you didn't practice today, don't give up. Just begin again tomorrow. Treat yourself like a friend who's trying their best. That gentle, patient energy is what makes long-term change possible. Progress made with kindness stays with you. Why do we think change must feel dramatic? We often imagine change as something big, like a movie moment. We picture sudden transformation, a new job, a new life, a new self. But that's not how real growth works. Real change is quiet. It's the daily act of doing things differently. It's choosing progress over perfection. You won't always notice the change while it's happening. It's slow, steady, and sometimes invisible. But that doesn't mean it's not working. Like seasons, your growth happens beneath the surface. You don't need fireworks to prove it. You just need consistency. When you stop looking for big emotions and start trusting small actions, you'll find peace in your progress. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Not because of one big moment, but because you never stopped showing up. That's what real change feels like. Quiet confidence. How can we overcome the feeling of being stuck? Feeling stuck can be frustrating. You want to move, but it feels like something invisible is holding you back. The more you think about it, the heavier it becomes. The best way to break that feeling isn't thinking harder. It's moving, even just a little. Action breaks the mental wall. You don't have to know every step. Just take one small one. Read a page, learn a word, go for a short walk. The moment you act, your energy shifts. You feel alive again. Stuckness is often not a lack of ability. It's a lack of movement. You don't need to wait for motivation. You need to create it through action. Every small step brings clarity, and with clarity comes confidence. So when you feel trapped in your routine, remember this: motion creates emotion. Start where you are. Do what you can. That's how you move forward. Why is patience essential for real progress? In our fast-paced world, patience feels rare. We want results instantly. Quick success, quick learning, quick happiness. But true growth takes time. Think of a tree. You don't see its roots, but they're growing deep, strong, and silent before you ever see the leaves. Your progress works the same way. The results you want, better English, better focus, more confidence, are being built quietly while you practice. If you rush, you'll lose your balance. Patience means trusting that your effort is working, even when you can't see proof yet. Every small step matters, even if it feels slow. So when you feel impatient, take a breath. Remind yourself that consistency is more powerful than speed. You're not behind. You're building something strong, and strong things take time. What if I fail again? You probably will. And that's perfectly fine. Failure is not the end. It's part of the journey. Every time you fall, you learn something about yourself. Failure isn't a sign that you can't do it. It's proof that you're trying. The only real failure is giving up completely. When something doesn't work, don't say, "I failed." Say, "I learned." Adjust, try again, and move forward. The most successful people you know didn't avoid mistakes. They learned from them. Think of failure as feedback, not judgment. It's your teacher, not your enemy. And every time you try again, you come back a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little more patient. You can fall 7 times and still rise 8. That's how real growth looks. Imperfect, but unstoppable. How can English learning teach you about life? Learning English isn't only about words or grammar. It's about discipline, courage, and patience. Every time you practice, you're training your mind to stay focused, to keep trying, to not give up. You're teaching yourself that progress doesn't come from perfection, but from showing up. Think about it. When you study, you practice listening even when you don't understand everything. That builds patience. When you speak and make mistakes, you learn courage. When you keep going day after day, you build confidence. English is more than a skill. It's a mirror of how you live your life. It teaches you that change takes time, that small actions matter, and that every effort counts. So when you practice English, remember, you're not just learning a language, you're learning how to grow. What does real progress feel like? Real progress doesn't always feel exciting. It often feels ordinary. Some days it's slow, other days it's quiet. But that's exactly what makes it real. Progress isn't a rush of motivation. It's the calm of knowing you're doing what matters, even when it's not easy. Real progress feels like peace. It's when you stop comparing yourself to others and start respecting your own journey. You no longer need to prove anything. You just trust yourself to keep going. That feeling of quiet strength is one of life's most beautiful rewards. So don't worry if you can't see dramatic change yet. You're not standing still. You're growing roots. And one day, those roots will show in your words, in your confidence, and in your calm belief that you are becoming who you want to be. What's the one truth to remember? Nothing changes if nothing changes. It's simple, but it carries the power to transform your life. You don't need a perfect plan or endless motivation. You just need to begin. Today, in the smallest way possible. Every time you take a small step, you tell yourself, I am in charge of my growth. That single decision changes your story. It doesn't matter how slowly you move. What matters is that you don't stop. The strength you're looking for isn't out there. It's already inside you, waiting for action to wake it up. So don't wait for the right time. Don't wait to feel ready. Just take one step, one honest, small, real step, and watch how your life begins to shift. Change doesn't start tomorrow. It begins now with you. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the next lesson. Your support means so much. It keeps this space alive and growing. With love. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you.